good, Ryan?
I'm good.
Fuck, now I'm gonna yell him. You son of a bitch. Alright, let's do it. We're ready to rock now. Alright, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. Tonight, we don't have a label rating for you yet. We might put Steven on the spot later. But tonight, we're going to be doing a blind. It's just 2 pours. I know exactly what each one is. It's not blind for me whatsoever. But they are 2 bottles that I've never had either of them. So I've never tasted them, but I know quite a bit about them. So I think that this will be a lot of fun. Not going to give any information until after we have given our ratings for them. Okay. And on this, like other blinds, I have encouraged you not to try to figure out what it is we're drinking. Feel free tonight. Absolutely feel free. If you are like, oh, I really think we might be drinking this one, then fucking say it.
Well, that being said, I'd like to go ahead and talk about the nose already then.
Let's do it.
Because on A, I immediately was like, ooh, this is the weeder. To me, it smells exactly like Spirits of French Lick the Weeder.
Yeah.
Like almost to a T. To the point where I'm like, this is a heavy weeded bourbon one way or another.
And that's on A?
That's on A. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Okay. What else are you picking up off the nose? Yeah, so we've got A and B. And if we want to, that's what they look like.
Which one is which?
Let me turn them.
This is A. This is B.
Oh, you can't see. It's
No,
bleeding out from the... This is A. This is B.
They look the exact same. Like the color, you can't, if you're not in person, you can't distinguish.
Yeah. Yeah, and the light was blotting out the handwritten A versus B. So yeah, let's dive in.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I like A. It's got a lot of spice to it.
Yeah, it's very peppery.
Yeah. A lot of like I can kind of get what you're talking about as far as the nose goes, Steven, as far as like the weeder, but I don't get that on the flavor. I don't get that on the palate.
I don't. Yeah, only on the nose. On the flavor, I get like a lot of sweet notes. Like I would almost disagree with the peppery. To me, like the whole finish and the end of the palate is totally like a fruity, like almost tropical taste.
So I get a lot of brown sugar, but it's like that first, like as soon as it hits my mouth, I get a very like wild turkey baking spice flavor to it, and then the sweetness comes through. And for me, I don't get much tropical, but I get a lot of like a brown sugar specifically, not a caramel, not I don't get any vanilla, I don't think, but mostly like a brown sugar with some cinnamon to it, like a sweet cinnamon. Ryan, what do you think? What do you?
I get like a juicy fruit gum on the end of it.
Really?
Yeah, for just like a note or two.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm all baking spice, man. I definitely get that brown sugar note to it, but yeah, it's spicy. Definitely feel like it's a high rye whiskey. If it's a rye altogether. What are we doing? Rye? You said you weren't going to.
What?
What?
I was just going to ask Steven if he like may have mistakenly poured B into the A glass. Like I haven't tried B, so I don't know.
That's how I feel too. Because when I smell B, I get like banana nut bread.
Well,
same.
Let me smell B.
Like that's all I smell.
Oh no, I totally get that for B.
Okay.
Maybe my 1A was fucked up, but that's the. I totally agree with you though on B.
Okay.
Because, and the reason I wasn't picking up a ton on A was because I smelled B right before because I was smelling it for like 5 minutes. So I definitely like the nose on B a lot. I mean, it's like
makes me think the B is a Jack Daniels product.
Are we moving over to B?
No, we don't have to yet.
Okay.
Just comparing
Okay.
the two. I don't know.
Okay.
I love
So
the nose on B.
The nose on B is awesome.
I mean, I do too, but I'm focused on A for right now. Y'all talk
Oh.
about whatever you want. I don't give a
Well,
shit. I'm just.
I thought your point was true though, Dan, because I'm like I feel like Steven might have gotten the vials confused or something.
Well, I hadn't even smelled B yet. Like I was just like focused on like you and I are like right there with each other, and Steven's out, catching butterflies in left field.
I wonder if I had the weeder in this the other night and didn't clean it well enough. Because man, it smells exactly like the weeder.
I
One
do
A
get
does.
it does smell like that.
I can
I don't
get the
think you're wrong.
smell.
Okay,
I-
okay. I was
I
gonna
can
say
get the nose.
if you guys don't get the nose on 1A being close to the weeder, then we're way off. But if you get that, then I just think that the taste, yeah, something about it. Like I wouldn't disagree that there's baking spices up front. I'm just saying the really unique note to me is on that tail end. Like I said, it's very sort of, for whiskey. It's like a
Yeah.
tropically taste. I'm not saying it's like literally a juicy fruit gum, but it's.
Well, obviously.
I'm just trying to clarify because this is like I feel like this is one of our biggest divides in what we're picking up so far.
Yeah. So what do you think of A? Not
It's
not
a-
a full rating.
It's a weird one. I like it. I don't not like it, but it's a weird one. It's a complex one.
I feel like the proof could be higher.
Yeah, I get that too.
I feel
Like
if,
it's got a good finish, but
if the proof was higher, like I don't know what the proof on this is, but I feel like if the proof was higher, it would be immediately unpleasant to drink though, too.
Really?
Depending on how high you went, because I feel like it has quite a bit of punch up front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once you sip it right away, like I feel like the finish isn't too long though.
Yeah.
It goes away pretty quick.
My tongue can feel it longer than my taste buds can. Like I've got a tingle on my tongue still.
Did you guys hear about
Yeah.
that new Jack Daniels offering that's goes up to like 145 proof?
I have, yeah.
I think we're reaching like the limits of like the human body.
It's jumped the shark. It's it's.
Hey, what if it's good though?
I mean, I've heard that it is actually, but I don't know. I just don't see the reason behind it. I think that you are. I think that people are doing long-term damage to their palate. I'll just put it that way. Honest to God, I think that they are doing long-term damage to their palate.
You think they're burning off their taste buds?
I do. I honest to God do. It's been proven. It's been proven that can happen, and I don't know. I don't know what the positive is. I don't know what the benefit is.
The jury's still out on science.
Well, do we want to move over to B?
I think so.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it seems like Steven and I are like we did some damage to A already. It seems.
Oh, it doesn't seem like I did.
Not really. There you go. Balls of steel right there.
Like that.
That looked like the Frankie Muniz, like milk helps build strong bones ad from just then.
Hey, he built 4 Christmas trees today, probably. Or do you have your lackeys do that now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm above that now.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. I'm sure I'll be building one this week.
Oh, okay.
Got my Phillips head screwdriver. I'm ready to go.
All right, let's move. Let me take a sip of water. And we'll move over to B. Now, you guys have been remarking about the nose, and I wholeheartedly get that. That
This
nose.
is a top 3 nose so far in our show's history to me. This is up there with
I think I
Angel's
can
Envy
support
Rye.
that.
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
I can support that. Yeah.
It's like banana bread through and through.
Yeah, with a little bit
Phenomenal.
of citrus in there. Like yeah, it's very fruity and sweet. A very sweet
Yeah,
nose. Not a lot of that's like ethanol alcohol smell to it at all.
A little bit of cranberry maybe along with the banana nut
Yeah, I can
bread.
see it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
let's
All right,
try
I'm
it.
gonna cheers.
Cheers. Looking forward to this one.
You look excited, dude.
I'm really excited to try this one.
Oh, but that's super light. Oh, but a killer finish in my opinion.
Yeah, it's good.
It's very fruity.
It's just like what it smells like. Very similar.
Yeah, it's similar. I don't get nearly as much banana though in the taste.
Mm-mm.
A little more
I get
citrus.
more citrus,
Yep.
Yeah.
more orange specifically. Like less cranberries, like you noted, Stephen, and more like more orange.
Yeah. And it's almost acidic. It's like very, or maybe oily is what's happening, but it has a weird sensation on my palate.
So like I find it very light, but not light like Penelope 80 proof or Brothers Bond 80 proof.
I feel like
It's
this might
just
be deceivingly higher proof than you think.
it's just like super smooth and it's just very light and refreshing almost. Like if I was going to drink yeah, this is almost like the seltzer beer of whiskey. It's like to me it's like a refreshing whiskey.
Which is kind of what I said about Uncle Nearest, how I kind of likened it to a like a cider or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That nose is just unbelievable.
It's got a great nose. I enjoy the palate, but I really love the finish.
I'm really curious what this is.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
I got a new guess on what it is, but I'll let Ryan go first.
I don't. I'm speechless. I have no idea. I mean, I think maybe like Steven, you thought it's like a Brown Forman Jack Daniels product. It could
Well,
be,
that's
or
kind of
like that similar, like maybe an Uncle Nearest or like a George Dickel type. I don't know. I
uh,
honestly don't know.
my first thing was to get the closest I possibly could based on how I know stuff smells. My first reaction was going to be it's the Weeder on 1A, and then 1B was probably like Jack Daniels, like single barrel or something. However, I think that was after having drank some of these. Um, I think that's now they've got a full impression. I've not had either of these, but I feel like they are maybe Maker's Mark wood finishing series, something like that. That's I don't know. That's my guess. I'm trying to think of anything that would be around like 80 proof that we would have in a blind, because that's what I think this. I think it's between 80 and 90 proof, both of them.
Ryan?
Yeah, I do think the proof is higher on A, but I don't think B's are. I think it's closer to 90. I don't even know. That B's got me so confused. I don't even. I mean, like Brown Forman, you smell banana in almost every product, so that's why I think you'd be going that way. But not that you don't like Brown Forman products, Dan. I just feel like
I
I
don't
feel
like
like it.
Old Forester Woodford products. Brown
Right.
Foreman has a whole lot of stuff that's not
That's true.
Old
That's true.
Forester and Woodford.
I don't know what it is, man. That's what does it start
Okay,
with?
I'm not telling. I'll tell as soon as we give them ratings, and I'm going to bow myself out of ratings because I know exactly what we're drinking, and I don't think it would be fair. So, do we want to go ahead and rate?
Yeah, let's do it.
You go first, Steven.
Okay. One more try,
I cannot wait to reveal this to you guys. That's one of the reasons I'm pushing to go ahead and give the ratings now.
1A, I'm going to give a 7.1 on 1A.
Okay.
Which I should just call A. Sorry for calling it 1A. On B, I will give it a little bit higher on B.
I figured you would. From your reaction, it seemed like you were going to.
Most of what I like on B is the nose, though. For total package, I like the palate and the flavor of A better. So, as a whole, I end up liking B better, but not only marginally so, because the complete package, I'm just giving it a 7.2. I think both these are low 7s, so I'm just giving it a 7.1 for A, 7.2 for B.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think that nose is one of my favorite noses I've ever smelled on B. It's good. And A is very peppery. It's very baking spice oriented. The more I drink it, the more I like it. I do think I like B more though. It's so I've either never had this or I've had it a lot, and I'm just like psyching myself out. So A, I'm going to go 7.4, and B, I'm going to go 7.9.
Wow.
And I like B. Something about it right now. I don't know if it. I'd like this morning. I had like a chocolate chip banana muffin, and it was really good. And then as soon as I smelled the nose on that, it like took me back.
Yeah.
So that
all the way
just
back to this morning.
This morning, I don't. The noggin doesn't pull that far back usually. So.
Well, I mean, I love hearing you say that, Ryan, because I think early on in the podcast, we used to talk a lot about how like your rating can change, like not only day to day, but hour by hour. And some of what changes that is what you ate 12 hours ago. And that's a great example of that. So it's calling back to those early days of our 64th episode of the podcast, or 60, whatever it is. And I like that. So a 7.4 and a 7.9 from Ryan, and a 7.1 and a 7.2 from Steven.
Yep.
Okay. And you guys have not a clue what it is we've been drinking. Not even a best guess, if you will, really.
I mean, I gave you my best guess, so the fact that you're still asking is pretty damning, I would say.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But I mean, I really have no clue in the world of whiskey. I just think it's something. I'm trying to rack my brain for something you would compare between 80 and 90 proof. I'm having a hard time.
Can you hold them up and not tell us which one's which?
Not really.
No.
Not really on this one. I'm going to hold them both up simultaneously.
And which one's A, which one's B?
This hand is A. Let me check.
Oh, the audio listeners are loving this part, Dan.
Well, you're the one who asked which hand is which.
Well, I thought you would out loud say the hand, not this hand.
Okay, which hand does this look like to y'all?
Left, but the audio people are not going to get the
Look, you fucking douchebag. Look, you son of a bitch. I don't know if it's inverted or not, you son of a... I don't know if it's a mirror or not, okay? So my left hand is A. My right hand is B, you dirty bastard, okay? Are y'all ready?
I'm ready. Old Monroe picks. So we can't make out the details on those bottles.
Yeah.
So I will tell you. The left hand is a small batch, 21I1. The right hand is the identical bottle. You would never know unless you looked at the difference in batches. This is 21G1. These were 1 month apart.
Wow. What a sophisticated palate to only rank them 1/10 of a percentage apart.
But here's the thing. They are completely different. Everything about them is completely different. And what I wanted to do was show, like, you guys know, I haven't talked about it much on the podcast, that it turns out I really love this distillery. And one of the things that I like so much about it is they don't have a standardized mash bill. All right, so let's go over the details, okay? So 21I1.
And we should say real quick, sorry, Dan, we should clarify to everybody if they are not familiar, that's from a local distillery called Stumpy's as well. I don't know if we properly introduced this on a previous episode or not, but
no, I don't think we did. I think that's a good point. So Stumpy's is they're in Columbia, Illinois. They are a literally farm to bottle distillery. They everything that goes into both of these bottles was grown on their own farm. So it's a farmer. They grow their crops. The only thing that they bring in is the yeast, and that's it. Literally, the yeast it's a proprietary yeast. I don't have confirmation because they can't confirm, but I'm pretty sure that their yeast is produced by the same people who make Wilderness Trail, who make the best yeast on the planet. But it's always the same yeast, but they switch their mash bills up completely from batch to batch. And it's in Columbia, Illinois. Just a really, really, really cool operation. So 21I1, that is a 4-barrel batch. It's 66% yellow corn, 29% rye, 2% wheat, and 3% malted barley. The barrels that went into this batch were aged between 30.1 months, so 2.5 years, and 51.4 months, so 5 years, 3.5 months. That's A1. So I'd call it a high rye whiskey, high rye 4-grain whiskey. And then a month later, they decided to bottle this one. This is 21G1. This is a 3-barrel batch. 51% corn, 40% wheat, 2% rye, and 7% malted barley. The barrels were aged between 28.4 months and 38.2 months. So like 2 years, 4 months, up to 3 years, 2 months. And I just think it's cool because y'all thought that these were completely different companies, different everything. And these were available on the shelf simultaneously in the St. Louis metro area. And I just think that that's so cool. They're both 90 proof. They're both exactly 90 proof. I can't say enough good things about Stumpy's. Alan Bishop had nothing but great things to say about Stumpy's. And the fact that they grow, like, everything that goes into that bottle was grown right there on their own farm. The water that was used for the fermentation process comes from a well on their property. I just think that's super fucking cool.
Yeah, it's a really, both are distinct products. They definitely stand on their own. They're nothing really alike. So it's cool to see somebody just trying different things every time. As we've talked about on the podcast before, I think with Four Roses, it kind of puts you in that awkward position, though, where if you're trying to build an audience, obviously Four Roses doesn't really have to worry about this now, but as a young distillery, you definitely have to worry about how people get entirely different expressions bottle to bottle, and they kind of want a certain palate to rely on. So that's the flip side.
So Adam did tell me last time that he and I chatted he told me that he was starting to narrow in on a general mash bill that he plans on using for a consistent product. Then he will continue doing the same thing he has been as far as like the different mash bills, but under a different line. Like there will be a line that is like Old Monroe whatever, will be like, going into it that it's going to vary bottle to bottle, but he's going to have one line that's going to be very consistent all the way through, always the same. So yeah, I think he's doing a great job, and he's just a really fucking cool guy too. So, and then throw on top of it the fact that he also always has a distiller's collection bottle available at the distillery, and those are single barrel picks, and the proof on those does vary. They're not always 90 proof. They vary depending on what that particular combination he's using. But they like these specify yellow corn. He grows blue corn, he grows red corn, he grows a couple different various like styles of corn, and those can have a huge impact on the final flavor as well. So, Steven, I know that we're hitting you off guard, but what would you give this label rating?
So the Stumpy's products in general, I think that they have a cool logo. I think the Stumpy's branding is nice looking. Here it's, to me, I don't love the label that much here because it's a lot of different texts and font going all over the place. We've kind of talked about that from some other labels we've had in the past. And because there's not that uniform kind of look that they're going for, to me it suffers a little bit because of that. And so I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10 because I think it's just basically a plain label, and I'm mainly giving it the points because it is very clear what this bottle is and what it contains, and all the information's up front, but it's just not very showy. There's nothing that's very stylized besides just the Stumpy's name.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Now, I think you've mentioned before that Jesse's a fan of their vodka.
Yeah, some of their other bottles I would give a higher ranking to. I think that the vodka line is, all of that I've seen, is pretty cool. And I will say also that I've also seen the pecan flavored or pecan pie. I forget what it is. Pecan flavored whiskey. Yeah. So that flavored whiskey, I think it looks pretty good. Like once you see all the bottles like on a shelf together, I do like how they differentiate them very clearly in that way. I think that's a key part of merchandising your product. But any individual whiskey bottle, I think, still has some developing to do there, which is kind of my impression overall of the whiskey. The joke I was going to make earlier is I'd call it Young Monroe.
Oh.
But I think that I would love to see, especially B here, I'd love to see aged another couple years, maybe.
Yeah.
And as soon as he gets some of those bottles out, I'm going to be first in line to pick one of those up for sure.
Well, he just bottled the first of his bottled in bond products. Those are just now available. That fucking dog.
Yeah, we do hear that in the background a little bit.
Yeah, I know you do. Let me let this dumb motherfucker outside.
Another brother showing